Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. I love the new Don Toliver project. My favorite song that caught my ear was the song with Don Toliver and Kodak Black. So today I'm going to show you guys how to build the track called like Brotherstone in the style I love. We can't recreate it exactly because I want to respect the original producers to do their breakdown. But we have similar sound selection. We're going to make a style track from scratch, but using the sounds similar to what they used. And you guys will get all the project files for free. Just go to BusyWorksBeats.com/FL Studio. If you don't know me from a hole in the wall, I'm Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. We train over 1 million producers around the world. So we're going to work with Drake, Kanye West, Post Malone, Ariana Grande, French Montana, Young Thug, Polo G, Lil Baby, Trippie Redd, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, and a long list of other folks. Let's hop straight into it. You guys, again, will get the project files for free. Just go to BusyWorksBeats.com/FL Studio. Without further ado, so firstly, it's getting the right drums. So I have my go-to drums, and like they use almost all the sounds in this go-to drums. I don't know if they just happen to do that, but these drums hit. Okay, so let's add here. We're at 155 BPM, so it's gonna go boom, ka, boom, boom, ka. Okay, so let's start there. Let's start with the drum rhythm first. Okay, and we're using this hard snare from Kanye West's Hard as a Motherfucker, you know who I am. Lex Luger, shout out to Lex Luger. Here's a hard 808 from Philly Drill, and so it goes boom, ka, boom, boom, ka. Let's turn the metronome on. So we're going to start with this basic drum, and we can switch it up. So I'm going to separate the hi-hats because I want the hi-hats to change up, but not the main drum for the most part. Let's go to a new pattern. So I recommend you separate the patterns. This way you guys can arrange a little bit easier. A big beginner mistake is that everybody will start producing on one pattern, and they're like, why does my beat sound repetitive? It's because you keep copying and pasting the same pattern. So let's make little changes here. So we're going to go. So basically the hi-hats are going to be like ta, 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 ta. And you're gonna leave a gap, and then we're gonna do hi-hat rolls. I'll show you guys how to do this in FL Studio 2024. So let's do a couple ones. I'm gonna record it by hand though. You know what, let me turn my mic off real quick, y'all. Forgot my FL Studio records everything. Come on, Betsy. Okay, let's turn this off. That way we're not getting all jammed up. Okay, let's do this again. So again, I'm recording it by hand. If you don't know how to do this, click your typing keyboard to piano right here, this icon. You can right click, select layout piano, and then C4 as your main octave, and then you could do it like that. So let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so whenever I held the note, that's my signal to say I want a hi-hat roll at that point. So that's a simple way to kind of cue you guys as to where you want hi-hat rolls. Let's hit Alt Q to quantize. So you normally, if we're copying the exact style, where they would drop the hi-hats is at the second snare. So it would be more something like. And leaving that gap is super important, okay? Now what we could do on this gap, we could either slice the notes or we could leave them normal. Let's hit Alt U, or a newer way is go to Control here, grab the ellipses down here, pull this up, go to Control, go to where it says Note Repeat, and then for those specific notes, we could turn up what's called the Note Repeat to create unique chops. There, I messed up, so I messed that one up. So we're gonna just copy and paste. Let's grab this. Now keep in mind, when you guys are producing beats, the beat isn't always completely done just because you made the beat. Like when you go back to record, you'll be like, oh, okay, something's off. And then you go back to change stuff. So production is not always just like, do a beat, do a vocal, and then send it. It's like, do a beat, do a vocal, go back to the beat, and then, do the rest. So I think that's lost in the process that people show you online. But that is a huge part of production, is going back to change stuff after you get the vocal. So don't get too locked into your patterns all the time. Okay, so we're just doing little stuff like that. Now you guys can make change ups over time, but that's my quick way of making change ups, using that different note repeat values using different note repeat values. Okay, so now we have the drums. We're pretty much done. Let's just add this secondary clap. And again, you guys will get all these project files for free, so don't try to memorize this. Basically, we're just gonna add this clap like as a change in the beat. So instead of using the hard snare, we're gonna use that clap. So this is more of like a breakdown clap. So I'm gonna put it somewhere where I would have a breakdown. Here's some quick shortcuts you guys can use. Hit Shift V, left click, and then let go of the mouse, and it will duplicate whatever that pattern is to a new pattern. The reason we're doing this is because we want to go in and double click and get rid of that snare. So now it's only the clap on this one. Okay, but then we can, you know, go in and add the snare back on this one. This is why I said separate your instruments in the patterns. This way you guys could have a little more arrangement control. So here's just the clap. And then here's the clap and snare. Let's start adding a soft clipper just for the video. So you guys can push the 808 way harder on this track. Now that we have the rhythm, let's move to the next section. So with beats, there's 4 layers. You have a top line layer, a harmony layer, contrast layer, and a rhythm section. So we just did the rhythm section. Now let's do the guitar, which is mostly the harmony. We want to go, I'll just show you guys the notes from the record just so we're not doing too much here, trying to be freestyling here. But basically it's D and then D flat. So it's a higher octave, so it's like, it's something like that from what I remember. I'm going off rough memory here, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, da, da, so. And then they copied this and pulled it down a couple octaves, control down. And we're using FL Studio Slayer here. Let me up my buffer length a little bit, guys. Hold on. All right, there we go. Okay, so that's how you get that tone. Now also in the middle, they did something a little bit different, which was to go from A flat up to A. So this is, I think they call this oblique motion and counterpoint. You don't need to memorize this. Basically, these are going in different directions. G sharp to D is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a tritone, funny enough. And then here we resolve on a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, a major third. Let's pull this. Did I write the right notes? A flat and A. Might have been tripping when I wrote that note. I know. Let's just leave it there, but maybe I wrote my notes backwards. So here it's A. Let's just do a half step down instead of trying to fight it. But that would be the technical music theory. The reason it sounded so bad in the beginning is that tritone has so much tension. That's why I was like, really? We started on the tritone? I guess that was my notes were incorrect. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is called a perfect fourth. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this would be more of a yeet style melody. Okay, where we're adding the perfect fourth. It's called quartal harmony for those who want to study. If I ever speak music theory in these, go to busyworksbeats.com/music theory magic. I have a whole course that guides you guys through more advanced music theory. Let's add this in. So we don't want this throughout the entire beat. We only want it at certain parts. Now in FL Slayer, one note I want to tell you guys is to turn this mode to none, or else you're gonna have automatic chords and it's gonna mess up your chords. Let's see if we can drop it down a notch. It might be too dark. Let's turn this down. So everything feels a little stiff. Let me show you guys how to unstiffen your beats. Go to your hi-hats. We're going to turn the time shift up a little bit. If you're in older FL Studios like 11 and before, go to the bottom left here and go to time offset. Turn that up just a little bit. Same thing with your 808. We're going to turn this 808 up. Okay, so now we have the drums. We're going to be in the key of C sharp minor here. Now we're referencing the Brother Stone record. Now, oh, one thing I forgot to show you guys is in FL Studio, another thing they did with the guitar is we're gonna go in here. I learned this from Synthet on YouTube. Basically, you have to double click a note and then change the MIDI color. This will essentially change what's called the MIDI channel. So now we can isolate this note, and then we can slide only this note to another note. So let's slide that note down to 7 semitones lower, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, in this case G. And we're gonna use that at the end somewhere. So this is we're gonna create like a tape stop effect. Let's double click, create a slide note. And now as long as this has the same color as the first note, only the pink note will slide to the pink note. It won't slide all of these notes. So let's hear it in context. Now it didn't slide on this one, that's weird. Okay, it must be this plugin acting. Normally this would slide. Like if I swap this, that's weird. I wonder why this doesn't do it. Well, now we know. Oh, pitch bend. This might be the reason. Let's try that one more time. This might be the reason. No, that's not it. Never mind. Let's figure out why that is, though. I just think this plugin isn't obeying the image line rules. So for that reason, I stand corrected. But that is how you would do it. Let me duplicate this just to show you guys, because I don't want you guys to be left hanging. Now we're not gonna do that pitch tape effect. I'm gonna do it a different way. Let me see here. Let's load up. It could be any plugin. I'm just gonna load up something random here. Where's GMS when you need it? Here we go. All right, so just to show you guys what that would sound like, let's copy and paste. So here it goes like that. So it works here. I don't know why FL Slayer doesn't work. So I like that sound. I might even layer that with the guitar. Let's see if that layers right. Yeah, that's fire. That's how the universe works. Sometimes stuff doesn't work and then you're like, oh man, then you redo it and it's fire. So that's how it works. I like this combo. And that's how you get that Playboy Cardi sound too, that pitch bend. So now we have that. What else do we need on this one? Okay, so I took notes about the core elements. We went over the hi-hats, we went over the snare, we went over the kick, we went over the key. Now I gotta add the piano, it looks like. And that's pretty much it. Wow, this beat's pretty bare. It's really about the concept of the record though that made it. Kodak Black's flow just was crazy on it. Okay, so now let's add like the main sound, which is like ring ding 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 ring ding ding ding. Let's add our own version though. We're not gonna copy. Like I really hate when people copy records, it's so corny. Like let the original producers copy the record. Okay, like I hate to be the PSA guy, but so here's the thing though, with this piano rhythm we're gonna do trecio, so it's ta 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 ta. So I'm just gonna repeat that dun 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 dun. So I'm just gonna repeat that over and over, and I'm not gonna just copy and paste it. I'm gonna do it each time on my chord chronos. There is a little time delay though, so I gotta be careful here because of the time delay due to my audio interface, but let's try it. 1, 2, 3. A little hard to do it that long. Okay, so now the rest is just like going up the keyboard. Let's see, let's get a vibe first. So my ear, I'm gonna play a different sound. Okay, so again, let's just do this. I'm just sliding up the scale. Playing 4 notes like that. Let's do this. So it goes ding, 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 ring, ding, 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 ring, like that. Actually, let me fix the notes here. Let me do one more. Let's simplify that chord. Instead of a 4-note chord, let's do 3 notes. It sounds a little more simple. So So notice I'm doing this in parts. That's the top line that we just did. Now I'm doing the harmony layer. So this stuff applies to melody too. Top line, harmony, contrast layer, rhythm layer. Now that, with D being in the note, let me double check. So C sharp minor was the key, so C sharp. But when it goes to D, technically we're going out of key. So the audio is a little rushed because again, I'm playing against the delay. So what I like to do is nudge my notes a little to the right. And I'll use the transient to kind of line it up. So let's hit Alt. Just left click, just drag it over a little bit. I don't want them too delayed because then it sounds like trying to bounce the notes. So somewhere in between. I could sit here and meticulously just line up every single one. I don't think that's important for this track. And again, you guys will get the project file, so don't try to memorize this. I'm using the Korg Kronos as far as the sounds. Whoa. I think the 808 needs to be the note. So I pitched it up to go with the tuning of the piano. Now, one more thing I forgot to add is they have like a do type 808. So let us go to pattern 1 here. We're going to make this unique. We're going to just do it from the menu. Let's go to pattern 2 and we're just going to, I normally would play this by hand, but actually I will. Let's go to pattern mode. Let's record this. I'm just going to record a random like pattern. Just something random. It doesn't have to be formulaic. Let's hit Alt Q. Okay, let's go to song mode. I'm going to line up some of these transients so they don't sound rushed. So this is the work that like a real producer would go in and know about time differences. Time is everything. Groove. Where did my track go? Hitting all the wrong buttons. Okay, so I'm going to line this up. I might change the guitar just so it matches here, but technically I should have changed up the piano to match the notes going flat. So let me try one thing here. Oh, you know, we went from D to D. Okay, so never mind. I was incorrect. I thought we went from D sharp to D. We went from D to C sharp. Okay, that explains a lot. Let me make sure this A is actually in key. So this is creating tension because these are not in the key. But it sounds fine because it resolves. I didn't hear that GMS. Okay, so that has a vibe. So notice how it had a bunch of energy and then stuff changed and then it went to the next thing where it's like do do do. Let me switch up the 808 a little bit because it's like boom do 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 do. Wait, let me go back. I think they changed up the hi-hats too, but again, I don't have time to like sit here and mimic every tiny little thing. Again, real producers, it's one thing to remake a track, but to learn, you definitely want to learn the concept and not just like trying to copy somebody exactly. I'll leave that to the original producers because they deserve to be able to break the beat down on YouTube. So I just added a couple hi-hat rolls there. Now let's get the sonics. So now I'm just gonna quickly, you know, eyeball mix. This is not like a crazy mix. It's gonna open up the track a little bit more. See how empty the track feels without that piano. Let's turn these down. I think we need to add another layer of piano. So let me go back and add, let's figure out which octave we need to add. Remember, we did top line and we did harmony. The only layer left is contrast, or we could stack any of the existing components, which would be top line or harmony. So I'm looking at contrast, which is like do something different than the top line. So here, I want to do a change up only because of my musical ear. We'll see. Let's see what we're going to do. So on this section where it changes for the guitar, my ear kind of wants to change it up. So let's just do it what my ear is telling me. So I'm going to get rid of the notes. Okay. And then we'll do our own like thing right there. And let me go back and I'm going to add octaves. Now in the original song, I don't have this. I don't think they have these low octave pianos. But that's a cool sound that I like, so let's add that in. So this is a contrast layer. So right there, the bass needs to change. So instead of dun, it needs to be like dun, go up a half step. Here's where you guys, this is where music theory comes into play. And this is where somebody who's not as like experienced would just keep playing the same notes. But for turnaround energy, sometimes you got to go out of key. So here, let's figure out a bass line. I think we're going to just do D. Excuse me. All right. I think we'll just copy the bass. So I added an A at the end just to resolve it. Okay, now we got to add that top line and the, what is this? I forgot what we did here. Oh, the harmony. Okay, so let's do the harmony. So the harmony is a little bit different. It's going to be D minor this time. Let's figure out what harmony is. So instead of a regular chord, we're going to play perfect fifths. This is called quintal harmony. Let's do that instead. So it's not a 3-note chord, it's just the tonic and the fifth. My finger slipped, we got to do that again. Again, when people tell me music theory is irrelevant, I'm like, you guys understand that like Yeat uses music theory? I gotta do it again. So the only thing about recording analog is that you gotta be right. So now that music matches, and then we can go back. So this is the detail that we need to learn to apply. So next, let's do the dun dun dun. So now let's figure out what kind of riff we want. gonna do the same kind of riff, but just switch up the landing note. Could have been played better, but we don't have time to keep doing takes here. So let's just. Actually, I'm gonna do it again because that was kind of sloppy. Again, I'm playing to a delay. It's a little hard. Oh my gosh, recording keyboards. Alright, that's a little bit better. It's a little rushed, and you could tell, so let's just nudge it a little to the right. Hit Alt right. Okay, so we're gonna, you know, cut it there. But you guys could spend more time to get it perfect. How it creates that tension and then the release. So that's why you guys need to know theory, because it's the music that makes the tension and release, not sound effects. Okay, so now let's just start leveling. Now, if you guys want to add your own touch, again, you will get all the project files for free, so you don't have to memorize anything I'm doing. I'm going to run a guitar through Guitar Rig just to add my own touch to stuff. Again, I want to teach you guys like how to add your own vibe to stuff. I'm not a guitar player at all. So what we'll do is we'll record this guitar. We're going to record it. I don't even have a guitar pick around, so we're going to try our best here. We're going to record it external input only, and then we'll try out different guitar effects. But let's first start with a preset, and we want a very distorted style. It's so hard to read these little tiny screens. Let's do like a metal preset. Be careful because these are usually loud. Wow, that is loud. Super loud. Let's do noise gate. Okay, let's see. That texture to the track. So let's do a layer of this. Again, I'm not like a crazy guitar player. Sounds, that guitar amp is not good with two tones. Let's keep it on the lead. So that's pretty much all we need, really. That was dope. Oh man, that was fire. I didn't record that. That was hard. I'm gonna try to do that again, but that was a mistake. All right, so again, that was happy mistake. All right, so we're done with the ideas with the guitar. We're doing too much. But yeah, you guys can go in and add your own takes. Let's just clip gain this down because it's way too loud. Now for the guitar to perfectly kind of fit in, we would need to add a pitch bend because that's what happened with the melody. All right, so there's a little tiny details, but we're going to leave it there. Let's hear this all the way through. Now I'm going to add my new plugin called Hades to try to add a vibe to this melody. So what I'll do is I'll group the melody. Let's call this melody. It needs a vibe. Let's send the pianos and what else is? Let's send these pianos. Gotta find all the tracks here. Let me move this. Control. I thought it was Alt. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so to nudge these around, you hit Alt and then whatever direction. Now I can visually see these are all my pianos, and we're gonna route these to the melody group. Route to this track only. Let's load up the Hades plugin at busyworksbeats.com/Hades. You guys can sign up for the waiting list. So now let's add a vibe to this. I'm gonna push the input gain. By default, it adds its own little vibe when you push the input. Gotta find these takes. 1, 2. Route to that, okay. Okay, so now let's add the Hades plugin to my piano. So by default, the first thing is vibrato. I'll exaggerate it so you guys can hear it. That's what it's doing, but at a lesser amount. Okay, now let's add some more stuff. Inferno is really good if you need more filling of the track. For now, the track's pretty full. Let's add some sizzle. Let's do some side enhancements. I also like the mess of the whip tilt. It's really good for stereo sounds. It's really all we need to do. We don't need to do too much. So here's before. It's just kind of there. It's not really doing anything. Then here's with Hades. It has a life. It feels like a vibe. So that's what Hades does. It just adds dimension to sound. Let's open that back up. One last thing we'll add for like subtle detail is a reverb channel, and we're going to make it monophonic reverb. Let's open up Fruity Reverb 2. We're going to pull the reverb separation to merge, which is mono, and then we're going to turn the dry level down, wet level up, turn the decay time up, cut out everything probably below 200 hertz, and then send our melody over to the reverb so it has a little bit of tail to it. right, so that's how you create in the style of Kodak Black's Brother Stone with our guy Don Tolliver. Let me save this so you guys get the project files for free. Subscribe if you're new. Go to busyworksbeats.com/premium to learn more about our premium, because that's where I teach you guys all the concepts and like building blocks to how we did what we did. Again, you guys will get the project files completely for free. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. Subscribe if you're new. Peace.